Hey everyone, Elvis here. Today we're going to be making some predictions about the up-and-coming Blizzcon. Yes, we're going to be talking about Diablo 3 particularly. Here we go, guys. We may get to meet the new game director, although the chances feel a little bit slim. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is the next Diablo project that they announced at this Blizzcon, that's if they even announce one, most likely didn't involve the new game director, considering the job post was posted like a few months ago. It's more likely that all of the hands that worked on that particular project didn't have the new game director involved, and if it did, I mean, you know, what was accomplished in like a month's time? Probably not a lot, but we may see a cameo from Josh Mascara. Who knows? Now, I think the three big questions that we're all realistically asking is Diablo 4, Diablo 3 expansion, or a Diablo 2 HD remake? Now, all of these are a possibility, but I believe one of these stand out the most. I think a Diablo 3 expansion will be announced along with 2 new classes. I have a feeling that Blizzard kind of know that one class might not be enough to carry another 2 years for the franchise. You know, as a content creator, I'm supposed to be a little PC around this issue, but I mean, come on guys, like the Diablo 3 Reddit is like an empty shadow of what it used to be. The community on the forums and Diablo fans, it's the same. Now, I'm not commenting on the quality of the community, but the quantity. There's just not a lot of people sitting around these community hubs anymore, and I think this reflects on the game as well. It's just a fraction of the people that it used to be, and for a Blizzard game, even this old is still super quiet, to be honest. We're talking about Diablo here. Now, along with the new expansion, we can most likely expect the obvious stuff, like a higher level cap, a higher item level, new items in general, a new act, a new boss or antagonist, and a further development of the story. Now, to be objective about this, the problem I see with a new expansion is I believe the expectations for the amount of new Diablo content are much larger than what the last expansion delivered. So before you go crazy about that, what I'm saying is, yes, the last expansion was good, but was the amount of content released in line with what people want right now from Diablo in terms of quantity of content? Also keep in mind that a lot of the development was staggered after the release of the expansion, which is quote unquote maintenance mode as well. Lastly, I don't know if it's just me, like I might have an unrealistic expectations of, you know, players of a game like Diablo or should be entitled to constant content like an MMO. What do you think about that? Diablo 3 is in a weird spot where it was kind of designed as a single player game, but it is multiplayer, as in, you know, it's an MO. Diablo 3's never really been one or the other. Okay, let's talk about Diablo 4. So I'm going to be honest here and say if Blizzard announced a Diablo 4, it'd be Blizzard Entertainment at its absolute finest. I mean, it'd knock fans on the floor. How good would it be? It'd just be amazing. But there's a few questions that I think need to be asked at the same time. Okay, so once again, let's be objective about this. There's 2 conflicting factors. The first one is, have they had enough time to produce a 4th game? Let's break it down. I mean, if the core people started working on Diablo 4, let's say 6 months before the expansion was released, which would make a lot more sense than right after the Reaper of Souls release date. They don't finish a game then ship it the week after. That's not how products work. You know, there's marketing, manufacturing, physical stock to be produced, distribution to be set up, just to name a few things anyway. But if they hypothetically did start development 6 months before the Reaper of Souls release date, that would be around 3 years of development. If they use a lot of the same engine and staffed up for it, a Diablo 4 starts to sound pretty realistic. Yes, Diablo 3 took, 7 years, but a lot of other factors bloated this. It didn't take 7 years to make that game realistically. Like, they were working on an entirely different Diablo 3 game to the one that we see today during a huge technology explosion, which of course caused changes. That's just 2 of the many things that did make Diablo 3 7 years. So yeah, Diablo 4 on paper seems totally realistic, but 3 years to turn around a whole new Diablo game still feels super short for Blizzard. And to be super realistic, we probably would have seen a whole heap of new jobs pop up that we didn't. Now, the last issue that I see with the Diablo 4 is a conflict of interest. Why make a Diablo game if you can bring out 2 more expansions for a fraction of the price and staff, which is also factored in the price? I think it's a lie to say that Blizzard don't care about their games. That's a blanket statement that you're putting over the people that work on them. But it is also true to say that, they have long-term goals to factor as well, making the games that are, as great as possible, but also maximizing profits. So yeah, why not just make 2 more expansions? To be honest, I think 3 questions were most likely asked if Diablo 4 was considered. Number 1, will the hack and slash genre still be relevant for Diablo 4 over the next 4 years? Number 2, is the community so bad or so dead that a new game is needed to maintain the success of the franchise, or will another expansion have enough strength to do that? Number 3, can we invest the staff in maintaining Diablo 3's seasonal content long term? If Diablo 4 comes out, we got to keep that game going as well. So yeah, it's a possibility, but not as likely as 2 more expansions in the future. And lastly, Diablo 2 HD Remake. Let me make this pretty brief. There's some inconsistencies with the Diablo 2 HD Remake and this event. I want to lie about this to say it's looking pretty good, but chances seem pretty slim. Based on Diablo 3, which already needs new content, the fact that the current Diablo 2 doesn't even support 1080p, I mean, that's something that they would have done before a HD remake, even though that's half the point. The closest thing to a Diablo 2 HD remake, which I think has a really good chance of happening in the future, by the way, but not at this BlizzCon, is what Titan Quest recently did. It's essentially the same game with better resolution support, bug fixes. They put the expansion and the original game in one, better Mac support, and even a Diablo 2 app, but not a complete remake from the ground up. And also, why Diablo 2 over Diablo 1? A lot of people love both games. Why not start from the original game of the franchise? So that's my general logic behind all of this. Anyway, friends, thanks for joining me as always. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Subscribe if you want. See you next time. See you guys.